there was a question pertaining to the tight ends and defensive end coaching position.
Yeah. Again, I really feel that Stephen Field is going to be the tight end coach when it is announced. In terms of defensive end coach, there are multiple guys who have interviewed. One of which was Charlie Partridge from Pittsburgh, their defensive line coach, who's a South Florida native. There's interest between Jason Taylor, Hall of Fame player, Jason Taylor, St. Thomas Aquinas defensive coordinator. In case you don't know, Jason Taylor used to play for Dolphins, number 99. Ring a bell. There's interest with
Akron
him. Akron University, exactly. But maybe in an analyst or consultant role as opposed to on-field coach. But there's interest both ways, it seems, and has been reported. There were a couple other guys who interviewed as well as Partridge for the job. I think it's going to be somebody for defensive ends. I think it's going to be somebody who's not in the building right now. In tight ends, I really just think it's going to be Steve Field. I can be wrong, but that's my answer as of today, March the 2nd.
We have talked quite a bit of Josh Connerly in recent weeks. He continues to be one of, I believe, only 2 top 300 players in the nation, and he is well within that range as a top 15 player in the nation out of the state of Washington, as one of the top offensive tackles in the country, who is still unsigned for 2022. Is there any reason to believe that his thoughts or intents are any different than what they've been over the last month?
No. You know, his dad came out in a 247 conversation and said, you know, they're going to take visits pretty much on the West Coast. 2 official visits, 1 unofficial to Washington. And the hope here was that Miami would get another visit, an unofficial visit right now from Connerly. And if you've been following me for any kind of time, and if you haven't read it, you probably should. It's a feature I wrote a couple years ago called The Recruiting Rules, and also on here, and also on Twitter, and also in other recruiting pieces I've written. I've been very clear in saying for a major non-Floridian target, an out-of-state target, you have to get at least 1 unofficial visit and 1 official visit. They have to pay their way to Miami 1 time, whether it's for Elite Prospect Day, Paradise Camp, Elite Player Camp, whatever they're calling it now, whatever it is, they got to pay their way 1 time to show actual interest and then come for the other visit that is paid for by the University of Miami. That has to happen. And you got Connerly in for an official visit in January before, and he plays basketball at Rainier Beach in Seattle, Washington, one of the preeminent high school basketball programs in the country. Which is why he was like, no, I'm going to focus on that and then not take these visits during the rest of this time and then circle back in March when it opens up. And I think that like this weekend, he had the ability to take visits, but basketball tournament, so he didn't. And yeah, so you got him down to 1 time, but now by his father's words, unless there's a secret visit or something, it appears that you're not going to get him back for that second visit, that unofficial visit that really belies interest in my mind for a major out-of-state target. If you're not going to get that second visit, then you're not going to get the player. So, I mean, shoot your shot and everything. You obviously, Cristobal and Mirabal were recruiting him when they were at Oregon. Excuse me, and you know, try to continue that. And hey, let's come on down. You liked us enough. You like our scheme. You like what we do. We're just going to do it a couple thousand miles east. So, you know, come and visit. And you got that, but there's not been any signs of continuing connection between Connerly and Miami. So unless something seriously crazy happens, I do not expect to see him in a Hurricanes uniform.
When you just said the name Mario Cristobal, that's the first time I ever put together the recruiting term crystal ball and Cristo ball.
Yeah, that's the branding they've been using on 247 is Cristobal, and you know, so
yes,
it makes sense.
It's not one of my brighter moments. I'm not.
Hey,
I'm not bragging about that. That it's
look. Sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, man. It happens.